Hey guys, welcome back. So I'm bringing you the long-awaited TTC update. I feel like all of my TTC updates I say the long-awaited because it's just been a struggle, guys. So we've got some good news though. We finally got some answers, I think. I have notes, I have stuff to tell you, I have to show you some stuff. I think the last TTC update was just about last year, actually almost a year ago from around this time, when I was in the hospital from the hemorrhaging and everything that I had going on last year. And here we are, new year, new house. Hopefully, you know, things are going good, right? So let's go back. So after I got out of the hospital last year, I told you guys, if you didn't watch that video, please go watch it because it is long, but I kind of got it straight to the point, so I'm not rambling in it, pretty much is what I'm trying to say. But I will leave the link down below on the end screen and in the cards or something, because that one really goes with this more than my other TTC updates. Like that you could kind of consider like part one because it has a lot to do with this. So I'm going to be referring to that video a lot. So again, if you didn't see it, please go watch that first and then come back to here. I hate when people say that, but seriously. So I'm gonna go back to there. I got out of the hospital like in June, and I spoke about how my OBGYN back then wasn't very helpful. He kind of kicked me to the curb. He was like, you're high risk, I can't manage you, you have to go to another doctor. At first he was just like, another doctor, you know, and then he tried to like recommend someone. But at that point I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go back to the OB who delivered Elijah. I loved him. The only reason why, if you've been watching me for a while, you know this, the only reason why I switched from him is because he didn't circumcise Elijah in the hospital, and it kind of like pissed me off about that. And so I was just like, oh whatever, I'm gonna switch because I was at that other doctor first. I'm gonna call him Dr. A, Dr. B, and then the other doctor that I'll be talking about will be Dr. C. None of their names like start with that, but just to get it. So Dr. A I had been seeing, he was my first gynecologist. I went to him for like my first pap smear ever. That's how long I've been seeing him. When I was pregnant with Elijah, I found out that he only did C-sections. And if you remember, if you've been watching me for a while, I didn't want a C-section, even though I ended up having one. But I didn't want a C-section, and I found out that if I got into the hospital and I didn't need a C-section, he would just pass me off to whatever doctor was on call. And I'm like, this is my first child, my first pregnancy. I don't want a doctor that I don't know, that I'm not comfortable with. So I found this other doctor, Dr. B, and he did C-sections, vaginal deliveries, like he did everything. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to him. So that's who I just switched back to. So when I got out the hospital in June, I obviously needed to go to a doctor. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna call Dr. B. So I called Dr. B, and he was actually like, why didn't you call me sooner? I can't believe this happened to you. He's asking me all these questions like, what's your infertility diagnosis? I'm like, I don't know, like I never was told anything. Any test I've ever had, any ultrasound or blood work, always came back normal. I don't have any information to give you about that. So he was like, well, I want to start from the root. He wanted me to get an ultrasound, pelvic ultrasound, which I've had about like 100 million of them by now. And no, literally, I think I've had like over 100 of them because every doctor wants to see that. He also wanted G to get a semen analysis done. He's like, has your husband ever had a semen analysis done? I'm like, no. He's like, well, I definitely want to do that because it might not even be you, you know, it might be an issue with him. So we do that. Like that had never been done. Dr. A never asked. It is almost like he didn't even care, you know? So we did that. And then after I had that ultrasound, my insurance kicked me off. And after that ultrasound, I had insurance issues. I was switching from another insurance, but the new insurance wasn't like kicking in. They said they were like retroactive, but the test that I needed done, like I wasn't, I think that's the word, retroactive. Is that it? I feel like that's not the word. But basically, like, they would pay back the money. Like, if I had to pay for a test, like, they would pay me back. But I didn't, the tests that I need, like, I didn't have the money to pay for them. Like, I'm not even gonna front and say, you know, whatever. Like, I did not have the money to pay for them because they were just expensive. So, like, the semen analysis, the appointment itself, the, like, another ultrasound, like, whatever. Like, I just was like, I'll just wait. So, I was kind of just winging it. Then I was supposed to be on iron because you guys know, like, my blood count went low. My iron was super low, so I was taking iron. Those couple months I thought that it got better. I was starting to feel better. I thought everything was good, and I stopped taking it. Wrong mistake, Tasia. Like, why would you stop taking it? Are you a doctor? No. So then finally my insurance like kicked in, and the soonest appointment I could get was in November with Dr. B. So I went to that appointment. He looked at my ultrasound. He said, your ultrasound looks great. I don't see anything wrong, like any abnormalities. He's like, you know, everything looks great. Your ovaries look good. Uterus is still small. That's why I couldn't have a vaginal delivery, because my uterus is too small. My cervix is narrow. He said it was super narrow, but he said, you know, other than that, like everything looked fine. Then he says the semen analysis. He said, you know, from what I'm looking like, your husband's count looks a little low. So this is gonna sound so bad, but I kind of like, I wasn't relieved because obviously like it's still like an issue, but I was just like, so it's not me, you know what I mean? Like, because I think as women trying to conceive and having issues, you feel like that's your calling. Like, you're the woman, you're supposed to be able to have a baby. So when you can't, it's like depressing. It's kind of like a punch in the face, you know? Like, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is like what I'm literally made to do, and I can't do it, you know? So when he said the semen analysis, I was just like, okay, I'll do whatever I have to help G, you know, we'll get tests done, take whatever. And G was very bummed about it. Like, he was very upset about it, and I felt bad, like, you know, I was trying to comfort him and stuff like that. And then the doctor, he wanted me to get on birth control, Dr. B. He wanted me to get on birth control to regulate my periods from November until G could see a infertility urologist, and also I could see the fertility specialist and have like a consultation. I was on birth control from November until February of this year. So November last year, 2017, to February this year. And then in February, I got my period and it was so heavy again. And thinking back on it now, when I tell you everything, like, it makes sense of the results that I'm getting now. So my period was super heavy. I walked, we have a path in our neighborhood, and I took Elijah for a walk, and I literally felt like I was going to pass out. Like, I had to keep on stopping. I kept getting dizzy. I was short of breath. Like, I didn't know if I was gonna make it home, honestly. It was really scary. And I almost called like Devin to come pick me up because she lives near me. I was gonna call my mom. Like, I was trying to think somebody close because I really did not, and it's not that far from my house. So that tells you something. Like, I really felt like I couldn't. Every time I got up, I felt, you know, this is gonna be TMI, by the way, maybe I should put that in the beginning, but I felt like a gush. Like, it was really bad. At that point, I'm like, you know, what is going on? So I didn't even finish, you know, like with birth control, it has like, you know, those certain color pills that have like the hormone in it or whatever it is, and then the last 4 or last however are different colors. They call them like the sugar pills or whatever that like makes your period come. I wasn't even done them. I think I was on like day 2, and I decided to start a new pack of pills so my period would stop. Like, that's how bad it was. I was just like, I needed to stop. So then March came and I missed a period. So I'm thinking, okay, so my period's been regular from November till now. I have to be like pregnant. Like, I'm so excited because like I had skipped those pills, so I'm thinking like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, maybe I am. I wasn't. Obviously, I took a test and it came back negative, which was like, you know, fine. At this point, I'm trying really hard not to stress it, you know? So I took a test. I was like, oh, nope, not pregnant, and I moved on. Like, I didn't get too upset like I used to. For March, when I was thinking I was pregnant, I didn't take the pill. I just was like, you know, I could be pregnant. Like, I don't know, my body's so weird. Like, what if I took the test too early? You know, I don't want to take birth control and like, you know, harm the baby if I am pregnant. Like, that's just how I think. Like, if I ever think that I'm pregnant, I will stop anything. Like, if I'm drinking, I won't drink. If I'm taking, I don't know, Tylenol for my head, like, I won't take it. Like, I just stop everything because I would never want, you know, it to be my fault. Like, I took something and didn't know or whatever. Meanwhile, I'm not taking it. March 5th, I had a HSG done, which is a hysterocephalogram. I'll put the word up. Basically, they check to see if your tubes are blocked. This was so nerve-wracking to me because I didn't know what was gonna happen. Thankfully, the place where I got it done at called me 2 days before, and she kind of like gave me like a heads up and told me like what was gonna happen, like, so that I knew what to expect. So that gave me so much relief. I felt so much better. It wasn't bad at all. Okay, if you guys want me to tell you like a detailed video about what happens, because I couldn't find a lot of information on it. Luckily, a doctor does it and they tell you the result right after. So the doctor did it and then he's like, and your tubes look clear. After I had the HSG, I went to the fertility specialist appointment. Oh wait, pause. After I had the HSG, G had an appointment to see a urologist. You guys probably saw that video. We drove in the snow, a blizzard, all the way to the appointment. It was like an hour and some change away. We get there and they canceled his appointment and didn't call or anything. something, so he never got to go. After that happened, I had to reschedule all my appointments because it needed to happen. Like, I needed to have the HSG, I needed him to go to the urologist, I needed to go to my fertility specialist, and then I needed to go to my OBGYN. Like, that's how it had to be. My OBGYN didn't want to see me until all that was done, so he could, you know, put it all together and make a plan. That frustrated me so much because we've been trying for how long, guys? You know what I mean? Like, years now. Elijah's 5. He's gonna be 6 in 6 months. I wanted my kids to be like 2 years apart, you know. I don't know, I feel like it gets so close I can almost touch it and then it gets pulled away. I rescheduled to go back to the urologist, but before that I had my fertility consultation. Basically, I just walked in, he was asking like what's going on, he was taking notes, he was very efficient. Like, I really like this is Dr. C, so I really liked him. He was writing notes, he's asking me all these questions, like he's really trying to figure out everything because this is like, you know, his specialty. He gives me this book, it's really cute, it just says this. Basically inside it has all the testing that he wanted me to do. I didn't see him until April. That's when I saw the fertility specialist. So my concern is that I missed my period in March. I'm not pregnant. I took a test. Then I'm in April now and you want me to get this testing done, this blood work and an ultrasound. So the blood work had to be done on cycle days 2 or 3 and the ultrasound could be done on cycle days 3 through 8. So I'm freaking out because I'm like, I don't get my period like that. Like, I have no idea if it's gonna come this month. You know what I mean? Like, no idea. Literally the next week I get my period and I got it like a Wednesday night and it was like a full flow. It wasn't like super heavy, but I mean, probably for someone else they'd consider that heavy, but for me I was just like medium. You know, you have to put it in your app, like if you track it or whatever. I was like medium. So it was like a full flow, so that Wednesday counted as cycle day 1. I called the fertility office the next day and they were like, okay, you can come in tomorrow, which would have been cycle day 3, for the blood work and the ultrasound. So the blood work I got done in the office and that says, it just says FSH including other day, 2 to 3 blood work, like cycle day, 2 to 3 blood work and Natura genetic screen lab. So they took that and then I had a baseline ultrasound. So basically the ultrasound was for checking to see my follicles, checking to see if they were like emptied out, you know, like seeing how many follicles I had on each side, basically to see if I had ovulated the month before. And then I was supposed to do that, the ultrasound. Then since I already got the HSG, I didn't need the HSG because that also had to be done on a period. And I had already did that before I even went to the fertility specialist because Dr. B had wrote me a referral for it. So then I had to get blood work done. He wanted to check my CBC because I told him about the whole blood thing and stuff like that. And then he said he also wanted my husband, Dr. C said all this, fertility specialist, he wanted my husband to get another semen analysis. I go in for the blood work and the ultrasound. We're doing the ultrasound and it was a doctor, so again he could tell you exactly what's going on, and he tells me that I have a certain amount of follicles on the one side, a certain amount of follicles on the other side. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I forget what it was and I'm not gonna like embarrass myself and try to do math right now, but so he told me that and I'm like, oh, is that bad? He was like, it's not bad, it's actually pretty low. It's not like in a normal range, but it is kind of low. He said, but I'm thinking that you have, you guys see that? PCOS. And I'm like, really? You know, just because I got tested for that, like my OBGYN tested me for that. When I was in the hospital, they tested me for that. So, and they said that I didn't have it, so I was just confused. And it kind of bummed me out a little bit because I just was confused about that. But while I was at this appointment with Dr. C, he said he wanted you to get another semen analysis because he looked at the first one and said, it's not, the count isn't low at all. He said, you know, OBGYN, like, they're not specialized in this kind of stuff, so sometimes they just glance at the testing and they're just like, oh, you know, kind of low, like whatever. And I'm like, what? So he wrote a script and said for him to have it done again. He told me, he said, I wouldn't go to the urologist because I don't see an issue. He said, so you can cancel that appointment. So I canceled that appointment. And then we had the other semen analysis. We did the semen analysis and then I did the other blood work with my CBC and all that kind of stuff. I forget exactly what that was for. It said the remainder of your hormonal test. So that's what that was for. So the Thursday of the semen analysis, I get a phone call from the fertility office and it's the nurse practitioner. She made me feel like there was gonna be no more Tasia. She made me feel like that was the end of days for me, because she said, hi, this is so-and-so from so-and-so's office. I'm calling because we got your blood test results back and you're severely anemic. She was like, have you heard this before? Instantly, my eyes tear up. I'm like, what? She said, your blood count is down to a 7. And I'm like, because I'm back where I started almost a year ago. I'm back where I started with the low blood count. And I'm like, it really freaked me out. And she's like, so we're gonna want to wait a couple months before we start trying again, like 2 or 3 months. She said, because we want to get your hemoglobin up, we want you to see a hematologist, we want you to see your primary care doctor, and we want you to start taking an iron supplement. And I'm just like, this literally cannot be happening to me. It cannot be happening. And who's to blame? No one but myself. Because I should never have stopped my iron. I'm not a doctor. Because I was feeling better, I stopped taking it. Like, I should have never stopped taking it. So I couldn't even talk. I instantly, she said that she was gonna write me a script for prenatal with high iron, because they wanted me to take a prenatal anyway. Like, they say it's always better to start taking a prenatal before you get pregnant. And I did that with Elijah too. But like, I couldn't even talk to G. Like, I got off the phone and I just ran to the bathroom in tears instantly. And I told him what happened. He's like, babe, we'll get through it. Like, it's fine. Like, you know, just take iron. He took me out and he got me a whole bunch of like iron rich foods. I had changed my diet. You guys know that I just lost a total of like 45 pounds, and so I've already changed my diet, and so now I have to change it again to make sure I get my iron in. And like, it was just such a wake-up call, because I realized, and my mom told me this last year. She's like, you need to start taking care of yourself. Like, you take care of your son, you take care of your husband, which is great. She said, but you need to start taking care of yourself. Like, you don't take care of yourself. And I'm thinking taking care of myself is making sure that I do eat and getting a shower in. That's me taking care of myself. So I thought about it and I was like, I really need to start taking care of myself. And in January, when I started like losing weight, I'm like, I want to feel good about myself. In January, when I would look in the mirror, I did not feel good about myself at all. I still sometimes have little moments where I'm like, could lose a little bit more weight, you know? So I'm gonna start taking care of myself. That's what I've decided. This whole blood count thing has opened my eyes again. They should have already been open because of last year. But I was like, I instantly started thinking, I don't want to go back to the hospital. That was the worst time ever. Being away from Elijah and G was like the worst time ever. G, like, obviously, you know, I love him and everything, but we've been away overnight from each other before. Being away from Elijah was hell. Like, I've never, and I know I probably sound so ridiculous to all the moms who like send their kids to their grandparents' house every weekend or whatever. I don't care. That is my little best friend, and being away from him was the worst thing I've ever had to experience in my life. I really think so. That's how I felt. And so I was like, I need to get it together. But I was depressed that whole week. I had an appointment to go with Dr. C the next week, and I was so depressed, it was ridiculous. I was having mental breakdowns, I was having anxiety attacks so bad because I was so stressed about it. I was so depressed about it because I'm like, I have to wait another 2 to 3 months. Some people could think like, oh, 2 3 months, like 2 3 months, like it's whatever. But if my blood count's not up, then what? You know, then I still can't try. So I'm like freaking out. I'm taking my iron pills. Like, I started taking my iron pills right away, and I'm like, I need it to go up. Like, I need it to be fine. And they wanted me to do like a repeat blood work or whatever, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do? So I have the appointment with Dr. C, and I don't even want to go. Okay, I don't even want to go, and I was like dreading it the whole time. I almost canceled it. I legit almost canceled it. I go to the office. He's like, so my partner did your ultrasound, and he said normal amount of follicles in a woman is 25 total. So however many on this side, however many on this side should equal 25. Mine equaled together 53. So he's like, you know, you're a little over. And he said, I think that you do have very mild version of PCOS. And I'm like, okay, like, what does that mean though? Like, what do you mean mild? And he explained to me that this is just what my doctor told me. He said, normally people with PCOS are very overweight. They have like facial hair. They can't lose the weight. It's really hard. And he said, being that I lost that 45 pounds by myself, just changing my eating habits, the fact that all of my hormone levels are normal, like none of them are above or they're perfect. I don't have the facial hair. I only had 53 follicles. A lot of people with PCOS that have it like severe are like 100 and some follicles. So he thinks that mine is genetic. He said, and not so hormonal. A lot of, like, most people have hormonal and genetic, like, and so it hits them hard. So it made me feel a little bit better. He said, you know, if you continue to lose weight, it could just, you know, kind of go away. Like, you should be fine. So he thinks that I do ovulate, just not every month. People with PCOS don't ovulate at all. So he said that being that there was only 53, I must have ovulated a couple months back. He thinks if I lose a little bit more weight, I could get pregnant by myself without any medicines or whatever. And then he looked at G's semen analysis, the second one, and he's like, it's fine. His sperm count, he's like, it is so high, nothing to worry about. He did say like his sperm looks a little, it's like a little lazy, but other than that, like, it's fine. Like, take your vitamin, you're fine. He said that he wants us to try by ourselves until August, and then if I'm not pregnant by August, he will give me a medicine sort of like Clomid, but not Clomid, because everybody still thinks that Clomid is the one that made me hemorrhage, to help me ovulate, like to make sure that I definitely ovulate. So it's crazy to me that I could probably get pregnant by myself. I'm trying to be very positive about it. I left that appointment super happy, you know, like, go me. Didn't even want to go to this appointment, and check this out, like, I got good news. Then I had a appointment with Dr. B a week after. I walk in and he's like, so how do you feel about what Dr. C said? And I said, well, what did you hear? Like, what did he tell you? And he's like, oh, well, he told me that he just wants you to get your blood count up for 4 months and, you know, try during those 4 months. And I'm like, huh. Like, you know, he didn't say get my blood count up to me. Like, he did say like it's low, but he was happy that I was taking the iron and he wasn't really concerned. But, you know, he didn't say like that's why we're waiting the 4 months. So I was like, oh, okay. Dr. B was like, are you okay with that? Like, you have the right as the patient to say, no, like, I'm impatient and I want to wait 2 months and then do it, or, you know, whatever. So I said, you know, but I'm shy. Like, I'm so close to Dr. B. It's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I feel so comfortable with him. Dr. C, he's very nice, but I don't really know him like that. So just, you know, I just feel like I don't want to be mean and go against what he recommended. So I said to Dr. B, I said, you know, could you say it then? And he said, I'll say it if you lose about 40 more pounds in 2 months by July, because that's when Dr. B wants to see me again. And I said, okay, that should be fine. I already lost like 30 pounds in 1 month, and then I lost like an additional 15. And he goes, oh, it's so easy, lose 60. I'm like, what? So that's 30 pounds a month. It seems so much to everybody, but if you think about it, I already did it, and that'll put me down so much. Like, I'm not ready to tell you guys my weight yet. I mean, I might, but as of right now, like, you know, it'll put me down a lot in weight. So I'm going for it. I have 2 months to get down, and I'm going to do it. Watch me do it, because that's how much I'm taking care of myself, and that's how much I want this other baby, and I want to be healthy for my kid and be able to do all fun things with them. So I am going to do this. If you guys want me to track that progress, comment down below, because I have no problem doing like what I eat in a day, what I exercise today. Let me know, because if you're interested in it, I will definitely do it. So Dr. B informed me about this also. I said to him, I said, how do you feel about the PCOS? Because you did the ultrasound and you said you didn't see it. So like, how you feel about that? I said, he told me that, you know, the normal is 25 and I have 53. And he said, that's a rough count. It's not really 25, maybe 30. So if you think about it, like, I'm not too much over what it should be. So he was like, you definitely ovulate. He was like, you have to know that you ovulate. You have to feel it. Like cramping, he was like, and it's probably a little worse because you have extra to let out. So he said he doesn't think I have PCOS. He's like, I personally don't think you have it, but I'm gonna put you on metformin, which can help with PCOS symptoms. He said it might even help you lose a little extra weight. So I said, you know, my mom had like a little concern about it. I feel like such a kid. But when I did tell my mom that like he wanted me to do the metformin before, she said, you know, why? Like, that's a diabetic medicine. Like, are you diabetic? Like, cause you know, she's diabetic. And I said, no, you know, he just said that it could help. And he said that PCOS is kind of like pre-diabetes. And I had no idea. So that scared me. And I'm like, I'm doing all that I can. They said, if I lose this weight, it can probably fix itself. So that is where we are at right now, guys. I'm so excited. And I cannot, I feel like I'm getting emotional because I can't thank you guys who would reach out to me and text me all the time and see how I'm doing and, you know, assure me and give me courage and support me and tell me that it's all gonna be okay. Like, I love you guys so much, and I don't know if I expressed it enough because sometimes I don't want to hear it, you know? Like, and the people who are close to me who, you know, do support me and, you know, text me all the time, they know, like, don't say certain things because I don't want to hear it. But I just appreciate you guys putting up with me, watching these videos and seeing my journey and my struggle. I think I'm gonna start updating you guys weekly or monthly with what's going on instead of waiting and putting it all in one video. I just didn't know what was going on at first, and I wanted to make sure I had an answer. And now I have an answer for you guys and an explanation. Hashtag journey to baby Q number 2. It's like on the roll. So yeah, I'm really excited and I'm really happy that I get to share this journey with you guys. I didn't get to share that journey with Elijah because we got pregnant with Elijah so fast, but I'm so thankful that I vlogged most of my pregnancy so I can do that, you know, with this baby. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Any questions, comments, anything. If you want to know about my weight loss journey, if you want to watch that too, comment down below. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video.